Welcome to Mind Over Matter, where we feature young Jamaicans who are shooting for the stars. I'm your host, Margaret Boyne. Remember, if you haven't subscribed to the channel as yet, please do and click the notification bell. My guest doesn't just dream of a better Jamaica, he's already building it. He's a public policy specialist, a CARICOM youth ambassador, a lecturer, a public speaker, a podcast host, and at the heart of it all lies a love for Jamaica and its youth. His work is about transformation, empowerment, and development of our young people. He hails from the parish of St. Elizabeth and is a past student of Margaret High School. My guest is O'Dane Brooks. Welcome to Mind Over Matter, O'Dane.
Thank you, Miss Boyne. It is great to be sharing this platform with you. I've been watching the excellent work that you've been producing, and it's awesome to be here.
Thank you, man, and it's a pleasure having you. So firstly, though, you're a public policy specialist. So for my young viewers now, what is public policy?
So public policy, it is a discipline that seeks to identify societal issues and to come up with solutions to those issues. So many of us, we can readily appreciate that there are various issues that beset the Jamaican society. And so the realm of public policy seeks to unravel and to understand those issues, and importantly, to put forward solutions that can tackle those issues in a sustainable way. So anyone who hear about public policy, one thing they must think about is a problem and a process that seeks to identify solutions.
So you work with the government?
I do. So previously, I would have worked with the Charities Authority of Jamaica, and that is the government agency that regulates the nonprofit sector in Jamaica. And then I would have transitioned to being a policy analyst with the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. And now I'm with the Development Bank of Jamaica, where I am the monitoring and evaluation specialist working on the boosting innovation, growth, and entrepreneurship ecosystem program.
Oh, that title. I don't know. Seems like you have a lot of work, O'Dane.
Oh, yes. But the important thing with all of those positions, they all operate within the realm of public policy, and they're all positioned towards responding to societal problems by coming up with different solutions. And that, in the essence, is what us policymakers or policy analysts do.
Okay. And you're also a CARICOM youth ambassador. Tell me a little about that.
So within the region, heads of governments have identified that there exists some amount of disconnect between young people and regional governments. And in a bid to bridge that divide, they have developed a mechanism through the CARICOM Youth Ambassador Program, which is stationed within the CARICOM Secretariat, and it is spread across the entire Caribbean. So with this program, it appoints young people who are change makers within their country to lead the mandate on what CARICOM is about, raising awareness about the Caribbean community, and importantly, to build greater recognition that young people have a role in the development of the Caribbean community. And so we operate as somewhat a conduit for young people at the heads of government level, where we champion issues that are important to young people and advocate for solutions that can respond to those issues. So in my capacity as a CARICOM youth ambassador, I am so positioned to convey the concerns, the agitations of young people to the heads of government level through, naturally, our foreign affairs ministry that is here in Jamaica and through the CARICOM Secretariat.
Mhm. All right. So this passion for public policy and youth development, what sparked your interest?
I think as a professional, my question was, how can I have a substantial impact on my country?
Mm,
And outside of the legal fraternity, which I started with a liking for, I
mm,
ultimately looked into the realm of public policy because what public policy offers, it offers you a unique opportunity to turn the lever of public administration where you can impact the policies that
mm,
impact the lives of people, and
mm,
you can be a part of processes that can derive solutions to respond to societal problems. And so
mm,
that passion to impact lives and to shape lives is what ultimately caused me to operate within the public policy realm, because I believe that it is one of the safest and the easiest way to have direct impact on people. Because
mm,
ultimately, whatever policy framework the government establish on any issue, it will have ripple effects on the
mm,
lives of Jamaicans.
mhm. So what are some of the specific issues though that you're passionate about?
So for me, one of my passion areas is social inclusion.
Mm,
Countries like Jamaica, based on our history, we have been challenged with issues of social inequality,
mm,
challenges with social justice. And so my passion to date has been, how can we utilize public policy as a means to create a more just society, a society that works for all? Because ultimately, I believe that given the God-given talents that we all have, with an enabling environment created by the state, people can ultimately self-actualize. And
mm,
so I believe that that pinpoint of social justice goes to the heart of giving people that enabling environment where they have the appropriate ecosystem that allows them to self-actualize and to develop their own talents.
mm,
Another passion of mine is youth development, because ultimately I'm a youth myself.
mhm,
And I know that young people, we are naturally creative beings, but where the ecosystem is not created for us to thrive, a lot of talents can be suppressed.
mhm,
And so my work has been, how can I be an agent of change where I can assist another young people to build their capacity to be able to unearth their own God-given talents. And
mhm,
so the body of work that I've been doing up to this point, it reflects that passion for youth development. So in a
mhm.
nutshell, I'm passionate about social justice as well as youth development.
Okay. But how do you encourage, though, ordain our young people to get involved in shaping policies when most of them not really interested in, them feel disengaged, I'm not interested in that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And that's a really valid point, because there is a great level of apathy within the society. People generally feel that the government, the state, does not work for them. But
Mm,
despite us having that level of disdain, if you could say, for the system, we have to recognize that we are the one that holds the handle. And if
mm,
we are the
mm,
ones that hold the handle, we have to become engaged. Because if we are not engaged, those who are engaged will participate, and the outcomes from those participation might not be what we want. So
mm,
as young people, I always advocate for us to become engaged, to become a voice for the voiceless, because
mm,
many of us have benefited from some form of formal education. So we understand processes, we understand how we can engage with our elected officials, how we can engage with public servants. And so we should feel that it is incumbent upon us to utilize those God-given knowledge of ours to directly advocate for things that we are passionate about. Because ultimately, to remain on the sidelines and to complain will not get the change we desire. We must become active participants.
Mhm. All right. Can you share a specific project you've been involved with that has had a positive impact on the youth?
So whenever I get these questions, I immediately think to my association with Youth Education Association.
Mhm.
And through Youth Education Association, it is a charitable organization that provides educational as well as social development for our young people.
Mhm.
And through the work that we have been doing, especially through the different initiatives, we have been seeing where it is changing lives. People are telling stories of transformation. And so through those initiatives, and if I should itemize a few, we conduct literacy workshops. And sometimes when you engage with the kids and you hear their level of literacy, it sometimes it bothers you that they're at a particular point in their educational journey and they are not further along the trajectory in terms of literacy. But whenever we do our interventions and you see the energy and the vibe that they exhibit, it gives you hope that all things are not lost. And so through those kind of engagement, it is what continues to refuel my overall desire to be a person of change.
Mhm. All right, let's talk a little bit about you. Early childhood. Were you always a child who, boy, showed leadership skills from early?
Well, I think early childhood, I was the student who would be more silent. I was not very vocal. And I
Mhm.
think when I entered primary school, I think I still had a touch of that introvertedness, although I'm still
Mhm.
introverted, but greater levels in primary school. But I
Mhm.
think when I started to blossom is when I went to high school at Magati High School. I think Magati High School provided me with an ecosystem where I was able to thrive, I was able to bloom. And because of that environment, it ultimately sparked within me my own interest for public
Mhm.
affairs and
Mhm.
my own interest for the development of Jamaica. And
Mhm.
so at that level, with that solid foundation and transitioning to university, it would have been an explosion ultimately at
Mhm.
university, where I have now a grand platform where I can launch into different areas. And to this point, it has been my guiding mantra from high school through to university to continue with the passion to impact national development.
Mhm. But Margaret High Odin is not considered one of the what you call them now, the name brand school them. But you were able to excel there. Talk a little about that accomplishment.
Absolutely, and I'm happy that you touched on that point because when I would have taken the grade 6 achievement test, many in my community would have operated as a pundit to say that I would attend Monroe College because of my general exhibition disposition.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I attended Magati High School, and I think if I could do it again, I would pray to God that I attend Magati High School because I think Magati High School, what it does, it creates an environment where each student has a platform to thrive. One of the things I also liked about the institution is that you are constantly challenged to be the best version of what you can be. Because a lot of persons don't have much expectation of individuals who attend Magati High School. So because of that element, you are consistently attempting to prove those naysayers wrong. And I often say that an institution like Magati does not have anything different from other institutions. And I would have utilized my own experience at Magati to capitalize on my own God-given talents. And with the great support mechanism that the institution provided, I would have been able to come into my own and ultimately matriculated to university with much success, I would say, because the institution, it inculcated that irrespective of where you are planted, you have the ability to grow. And the ecosystem was provided. And so growth was inevitable from that encounter.
Okay, so you went to you're a first generation university student?
I am.
Okay, wow. So so tell me a little about that, man, and the impact on your family and all of that.
So for my family, education is a big thing for us. My parents would not have benefited from higher education. And so for them, they always championed that education is the only passport out of poverty. And so being a first generation university graduate, it represents what greatness can be for that little girl, that little boy in St. Elizabeth, who might not be exposed to similar conditions. They might not have other relatives who are attending university, but it speaks to the fact that you have within you as an individual the innate ability, the innate thrust that God gives you to be able to achieve anything. And so I'm happy that for many in my community, it is an inspiration for them based on the achievement and the success that I've been able to amass to date.
So tell me a little about your community. Which community are you from?
So I am from Southampton.
Southampton.
That is about 10 minutes out of Santa Cruz, the main town in St. Elizabeth. And so that community, it is mostly driven by agriculture and construction. It is a small, quiet community. I often say to my associates that if I had the ability to relocate back to that community, I would do so in a jiffy. But because of the current circumstances, I have to be in Kingston. But it is a community in which anyone would want to live. The people are friendly for one, and the environment is one that encourages any individual to thrive and to live in that space.
So your parents are farmers?
They are.
Okay.
From
So
I've been born, my father is a farmer until this point. That is what would have gotten me through high school, primary school, and through university.
So how they feel, man, to see you going all over the globe? I see you all over the place on Instagram doing all kind of things. How do they feel about that?
They are really elated, and especially because of what I just mentioned, that they did not get certain
Yeah.
opportunities. And so to see the successes that I've been able to amass to date, it is one that gives them great reassurance that they did a good job, and that despite what they might not have gotten, they are seeing it manifesting in my own life. And so it is a period of great celebration and feeling of accomplishment for them. And they continue to be a source of great encouragement for me personally.
All right. So do you see yourself going into politics? I mean, I think that's the next step. I don't know.
I get this question so very often,
Yeah.
and I think I'll stick to the response I give in those
Yeah.
instances where I say I am not opposed to operating in any space that allows me to have a transformational impact on Jamaica. And so if the space in which God thinks I should operate is in politics, then I will venture in that direction. I will go with the leading of God. But for the interim, my primary focus is on building my professional capacity. And in building that professional capacity, I am seeking to continuously grow through my education and through also my professional experience across the public service. So ultimately, wherever God leads me after this process of development, I will certainly go. Because politics is a noble job. It is one that enables you to have a positive impact on the trajectory of people's lives. It is just that in our context, if you use the word politics, you are often looked down on. So it's a matter now of how do I balance that landscape.
All right, Odin, mentorship. You must have had mentors along the way. How important has that been to you?
Mentorship is very important because with a mentor, you must be able to see within someone things that you want to accomplish and principles and values that you would want to emulate. And so for me personally, throughout my high school journey, I would have come into contact with several teachers who were sources of inspiration and motivation. The energy and the collective will of purpose that they would have exhibited in what they are about and in what they do would have certainly served as great inspiration for me. But I think my parents is the one that consolidated the ethos of mentorship, because for me, I saw within them principles and values that I want to emulate, and to see that the individual I am today, I see many of their values reflecting in me. Because for my father specifically, his level of commitment, his level of dedication to his family, it is beyond question. Those are some of the key ideals that I look for in a mentor. And those are the things that I want to emulate, the essence of hard work, that if you work hard, you will reap your due reward. Those are principles that have carried me up to this point, and which I think will continue to fuel me into the future.
Very good. Apart from hard work, Odin, what would you say are some of the other factors you think that has led to the success that you are having now?
I think commitment is one
Mm.
of the things, because many of us can start something, but midway we just let loose of it, we drop it. But if we are committed to something and locate that commitment within a wider purpose, then we are able to continue our journey, irrespective of challenges that will come along the way. And I deliberately say will come along the way because no journey is seamless. There is always ups and downs in the process. But I think that key principle of commitment rooted in purpose is what has brought me to this point, and which I think will continue to fuel my own journey. So whoever is listening this, it is important that you are committed in what you do and underpin that commitment within a wider purpose, because circumstances will change, but usually purpose will not change overnight. So try to find your commitment and your purpose, and you will be unstoppable.
Tell us a little about your podcast, Elevator.
So I had my debut season last year. I had approximately about 12 guests. And one of the things I did when I was conceptualizing the whole idea was, how can I create a space where we showcase the work that young people are doing? And I automatically came up with the concept of elevator, because it's like an elevator. Young people is moving up. And so the Elevator Live podcast, it showcases excellence that is being done by young people. And throughout all of the episodes last season, all young people featured are inspirational young leaders in their own right. They are giving back to their community. They are empowering others. And that is the manifestation of the vision that I had in starting the podcast. And so our listeners can look out for the next season that is coming up very, very soon.
Yes, and I've been watching them as well, and I really find them very, very empowering. So it's on YouTube. You have a YouTube channel, and it's streamed on the
Correct.
podcast
Correct. So
platforms.
it is on YouTube at Elevator Live with Odin, and it is also on Spotify, Elevator Live with Odin.
All right. So Odin, before you leave now, leave a message for my young viewers, young people, who might be empowered by your work. Leave them some words of encouragement.
So my word would be, circumstances change, times change, but irrespective of where you are now in your journey, know that times will get tough, but tough times will not last. And so do not feel despair in your moment of lows. Continue to push through with a sense of conviction and confidence that whatever you are going through now, it is not your end all and be all. Gather yourself, continue to be the bastion of hope, continue to weather the storm, and you will see the rising sun that is ahead of you.
And let me just add that I've not touched some of the things that you're doing, but me not have. It's only half an hour I have, right? So I just want to tell you, thank you for being here, man. And I really enjoyed talking to you. And I want to wish you all the best. Continue doing what you're doing for our young people. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much, Miss Boyne, for extending the invitation to be a part of your August platform yourself. You are doing exceedingly well. So it's great to have been on with you.